Everybody, welcome back with the Purplatypus is the name, and today we are talking about none other than how great I am at this game. Look at that, number 74. Sorry, that's the wrong tab. That's from the last video. We are going to be checking my battle record from Weapon Trial 2. Now, this is the team I used. I kind of am going to not really focus as much on the 100% free-to-play teams anymore because it's just very time-consuming. Although, when I have more time, I will be able to do it. But I already cleared this, and it's a fight that I don't really want to do a bunch of. But if I have time and I'm like not playing another game, then it becomes really, really fun. Like when this game came out, using a bunch of silvers, a bunch of bronze, and some gold units to clear content was so fun. But right now, I kind of am doing a couple other things right now, so I don't want to just spend hours trying to clear fights with lower rarity units when I could use higher rarity units. So that's where I'm at. Plus, these weapon trial level 70s, they ain't no joke, man. All of them are pretty hard. You can see they're my only saved fights right now. You can see the consistency here is the characters I decided were really good were Magnus and Garcia. Magnus and Garcia. Now, don't get me wrong, we are using Gloria because she's insane, and Coco is going to be our healer for this fight. You could probably replace it with Angel. However, Angel does sometimes just get one-tapped on my build because I didn't take the right damage reduction thing on her, and sometimes she just dies. So I kind of got like sick of it. But we're going to go ahead and look at this fight here. As far as the build, I've kind of already moved shit around, so I don't have that much. But we can go into the characters and kind of give you an idea of... Actually, you know what? I bet I can come in here and look at their stuff, can't I? Like, I could watch the replays. Ooh, I don't know if I can see the equipment, though. Let's take a look. We got to watch the first turn here. So we are using the Sword of CONVALLARIA strategy, basically. I didn't watch a video on this, I'm going to be honest. So I don't know what other people did, all right? I like kind of figuring out things myself, so I can't see the equipment here. But basically, Garcia is here. She's not particularly good at the crystals. However, you can't ignore the crystals. You do need to kill them. She's here because she is just like the best single target DPS in the game. Now, she does have a little bit of an issue where if she's not 5-star, she doesn't get the ability to ignore defense. At 5-star, when she's at 9 stacks, she gets like extra attack and ignores like 40% defense, something crazy, which is absurd. But still, she is getting some of the highest attack in the game. She is stacking this up to 9 stacks, 4% attack per stack. On top of the fact that she gets all these other buffs, right? So it's just like an additional stacking thing that gets really high. She has the leader's aura because she is a fortitude character, I suppose. I actually didn't even probably realize that when I picked her, but that's obviously there as well. And also, like, so things that are really good about her is that this ability just ends up getting really, really, really strong by the late game. She's slow to ramp up, but when she's ramped up in a fight like this, she just goes hard, you know? I am actually using Taste of Blood here. Potential Burst, just increasing her damage, attack by 20%, is honestly just crazy good. And it'll stop her if she gets some sort of like debuff. You will be able to cleanse it. And also, honestly, just the throwing thing wasn't very good. Like her dash, what is it called? The pull, you know, that costs 3 energy. It just wasn't very good in this fight for me. However, Lock On is great in this fight. At the start of the turn, inflict physical defense down 2 on an enemy with the highest physical attack within 6 tiles. Well, guess what? There's only one enemy here, and it's this one. So he has permanent, within 6 tiles, he has permanent defense down 2 in this fight, which is so good. He doesn't have the attack down from this, but the defense down is going to be huge for us getting damage because this guy's defense is 2,700. Magnus is one of the single best characters for big, strong bosses because of his trait. He gets 8%. It doesn't sound like a lot, all right? But the attack and defense of all enemies within 3 tiles by 8%. What makes this so good is that this is 8% that stacks with everything. This is a totally separate like debuff. So if you give them defense down 2, attack down 2, damage down 2 or something like that with like you give them attack down 2 here, they'll get defense down 2, they'll have attack down 2, and they'll get an additional 8% on top of that, which is just really good. He's also here because he has the Blood and Steel, which is good, just makes it harder for you to get one shot. And you ignore the effects of being injured. Is like, this is a really good leader Zara. Fortitude, I don't typically love. However, in this situation, it is good. Mountain Breaker isn't insane, but you do basically need it because Cry of Victory is insane. This is when you defeat a target or when you use Mountain Breaker, you're going to get attack down 2 to all enemies within 5 tiles, and then you grant damage 2 to all allies. So now she is getting, you're going to be giving her so many buffs, right? She's going to be getting her stacking buff here. She's going to be getting probably like all these stacking buffs from Gloria, right? You could even give her, if you want to, you can give her damage 3 with Coco, but I don't typically do that because you're already getting damage 2 from Cry of Victory. And then he's basically here just to make this character not one-shot us and to make our characters deal more damage. He also has good AoE attack with his basic that is good at killing the crystals. Gloria is mostly a buffer, but we all know Gloria is strong as shit as well. We are using the Vow of Justice, which isn't the most important thing here, but it's good for her, honestly. And does it work on him? It doesn't even work on him. It's just working on her, but I like having the leader's aura. But yeah, so she's here. She's going to help kill the crystal. She's got great AoE attacks, like great AoE attacks. She even has good single target attacks, but nothing like insane. And Coco is primarily going to be our healer, and she's also going to be buffing every now and then and probably attacking crystals. This guy, if you've done the previous weapon trial, you know this guy's job. He is going to stand here and get hit in the face. You could run invincible. I'm not running invincible. I would take off guard if I could, but it's not really because it doesn't do anything in this fight. But really what you want is endurance activation to give him defense down, and then you're just going to give him a fuck ton of shield. Just shield, shield, shield. Flagellant is good too, unless you get it despelled. I don't think this one can be despelled. This one can't be despelled. So this is giving you more energy every turn. You know, you're going to go up to 2 energy a turn, and you're getting a stacking defense down. And then if you have a bunch of buffs, you're going to get even more defense and more block. He's just really hard to kill. He's like the tankiest tanky in the world. And then, yeah, so this boss kind of goes through formula here, right? I'll put a timestamp in here to when the fight actually starts. So basically he gets an upgrade here. So these crystals used to, I believe, they make the defense weaker of everyone within 5 tiles. And they're pretty hard to kill. They're not just like one shots. But also now if the Calamity hits them with his big attack, they explode and they like instantly kill everybody like in a 5 tile radius. It's like it does an insane amount of damage in an insanely huge area. So you need to make sure he doesn't actually hit them with a Calamity attack. I don't know. I don't believe this. I'm not 100% sure if the single AoE direction actually does it. I think it does. I think it does do it. But really you got to worry about like the lines. But when you can ignore the crystals, you should ignore them and just go for damage. But sometimes you got to kill them. Like these ones in the early game, you got to kill. So he's basically going to follow a very simple pattern. And if you're having a hard time in this fight, actually, I don't want you to be discouraged because it is a hard fight. But also these fights get easier the longer you're in the fight. So the hardest the fight is right at the launch. He doesn't get stronger over the course of the fight. Once you get him from healthy down to injured, he's taking more damage, he's dealing less damage, right? If you could survive the first round of combat, or if you could survive until you get him injured, suddenly the rest of the fight's going to be easier. And then when he's dying, he's going to go down super fast. So it may look like, oh no, I'm 5, 6 turns in, I'm not going to kill him on time. It gets faster. So you mostly want to focus on survival. That's why I think Garcia is good, because it does take a lot of rounds, and she easily gets up to the max rank by the end of the fight. So let's actually watch the fight here. So we're going to mighty swing in. I'm trying to remember everything. We're using the sword of Convallaria here. Not the sword, the flag of Convallaria. It just is really fucking good. I believe we use it a second time and we get it destroyed later in the fight. And then I'm just trying to have her kill the crystals as soon as possible, get them out of the way. I want to start ignoring them a little bit later, but early on, you kind of got to do it. See, Angel could have died there. Coco survives. This guy's job is to stand here and do exactly that. He's just going to keep giving himself armor. Oh, I have the dagger throw on him just to increase his damage a little bit. Oh, look at, I was like, wait, why isn't he healing? What's going on? So I probably could have undone that turn and redone it, but here we are. All right, and you can see here, we're just going to start dealing damage. And you're going to see, this is going to be almost all Garcia. Garcia is probably going to do 70% of the damage for this whole fight, right? And it's going to start low, I bet. 6,000, all right? So 6,000 at the beginning of the fight. Let's see how far she gets by the end of the fight. And so we could see here, bada bing, bada boom. This is kind of the cycle. This is the important one, right? He hits this, and this is going to do an attack, like in a cross infinite range, but it's going to go up, down, left, right. and it's going to hit for, I believe it's 60% damage. Yeah, 60% HP. So if anyone gets hit by both of them, they just die, right? So you need to make sure no one gets hit by more than one. So you just kind of, when you're moving your characters around, make sure that no one is in the cross of both of them. This includes crystals. Crystals don't want, if a crystal is around and it gets hit, again, it explodes, does like 80% damage to everything in fight. You're just gonna, your whole team's gonna blow up. You literally can't afford to let this attack hit any crystals. You can ignore the crystals sometimes. Sometimes you can't. That's why we destroyed the early ones. So Mountain Breaker, right? Lowering his attack, giving ourselves damage up. Now my goal is to keep Garcia on the front line and attack as much as possible. But he does, after this attack, he does do his AoE, like, there's no warning. He just does like a big 3 tiles in front of him all the way down to the edge. I think unless you're down at the bottom there, but. So first attack was 6,000. Let's take a look here. She just did 20,000, right? Like that was mostly because of the damage up buff, I'll admit. But also being immune to injured status is like huge. It's actually like a really big deal here. So we are moving out. This is also why he's good. He can kind of just swing in between his turns. I don't love the not healing Garcia there, but I mean, you know, this isn't a perfect execution of this fight, but it is pretty good. Unfortunately, I got to move out of there because he does this big attack, and then he summons 2 crystals. Now, this crystal down here, actually, I believe we could completely ignore this crystal down here because he never hits this spot, literally ever. But these crystals here, he does do a 3 thing in front of him. So we do got to get rid of these crystals before he does it for us. I think. I did do this fight a couple days ago. But there we go. Yeah, full moon swing. But I think she just does that 2 turns in a row. And I actually think at the last turn here, I'm going to use my Warhorn to make him even weaker. 16,000 damage, 20,000 damage, like no sweat, right? This character is not even taking damage anymore from that attack, which is the most important one. So he does this one again, and this is where you got to be careful, right? If these get hit, you're fucked, bro. You're gonna get fucking smashed. So you really don't want these to get hit by this. Even this one, you don't want to get hit, but you're probably not gonna come. Like I would have to stand here or here or here, right? Like I just can't. You can't stand in here. But you can see if you don't destroy the crystals, suddenly you're gonna have a really hard time. But AoE Magnus is great. You're in a safe spot, and Garcia looks like she's not in a safe spot, but we're actually gonna move her just over here to attack. And she killed the last crystal, so we're totally safe. You can see here, I did the flag, and I think that's because I actually wasn't dealing enough damage to kill the crystal without the flag. And I know the flag is gonna die, but it is still gonna, I felt it was powerful enough to justify it. Actually, the flag's gonna take damage there, but I think it still dies this next turn. Oh yeah, because it wasn't in range there. So you move over here, you tank it up, you Mountain Breaker. It's a little scary, but we're going to Iron Pot Stew, and I believe we're just safe here. I think I decided, like, hey, this attack doesn't do that much damage, so we're going to be totally fine. Give everyone a little buff, and just give them an attack. Because I'm mostly caring about Garcia here, right? So he's injured now. Execution time. What's her attack at? You want to take a look? 23,000 now is what she's hitting for. Her attack is up to 5,600. How many stacks? She is up to all 9 stacks. She has the leader, Zara. She doesn't even have attack up right now if we look, right? She doesn't have an attack up. She has damage up, and she has critical. Does this give her attack up? Potential burst does give her increased attack by 20%, but I think that's different, right? I don't even know if she has potential burst on right now. I don't think she, oh, she must because it's this, right? Yeah. You know, I'm learning. But either way, like, I probably could just have a normal, like, attack up thing, and it would probably be insane. But yeah, like, that attack just didn't do that much damage now that he's injured. And so I wasn't too worried about it. And we could probably ignore this crystal if we just kill him. I actually don't remember, but this one we definitely could ignore. I'm just attacking because I want my guy to stand there. But Mountain Breaker again, sort of Convallaria, or Flag of Convallaria is insane. Oh, there we go. We give her the Snow Lotus. We do the attack buff here, because this puts the aura around, right? It affects everyone on the battlefield, so I don't actually think it's a damage increase, but still. Execution time, let's go. another 21,000 damage. And then he hits that, and then I bet this guy is dead next turn before he gets a chance to even do anything with these crystals. Because I believe he Warhorn him, and we take a look at his defense. Because when you Warhorn, not only does it decrease their defense by 40%, they take 80% more damage. Yeah, so look, I Warhorn him. Remember how powerful this is when you can afford to use it. Increases damage taken by 80% and reduces defense by 20%. So now he's only at 1900 defense, and he's actually going to go down when it's Garcia's turn. So Mighty Swing, but so let's take a look at Garcia's turn. I don't want to end it before he starts. Please let me. Oh, she even did her follow-up. I forgot about that. All right, so let's pause. So when she starts, she does lock on, right? And so now he does get the 20% down here, and then another 40%. So now he's down to 880 defense, and he's taking 80% more damage. And he has the normal physical defense down too. 5,000 attack, damage up. Like, it goes crazy, man. It just goes absolutely crazy. And again, we don't have a normal attack up on this still. Like a normal just like attack up too. Taste of Blood is going to be great as well. And then hitting it for, that was 30,000 because she didn't have enough juice. That was 30,000 with her auto attack, right? So Garcia's kind of fucking, she gets nasty with it. Which is why, so that was the team I used. But I think Garcia is so good in those kinds of fights, if you can keep her alive, that I actually have her up to 4 stars. She is on her way to 5 stars for me as well. I am prioritizing making her 5 stars. Being able to ignore 40% of defense, being able to get 30% crit damage, 30% crit, and ignoring 40% defense passively is so strong. It brings, yeah, that's like such a big 5-star on top of it all. This is actually the gear I was using with her. Increase crit damage, increase attack. And then the Newborn Blade, just to give you the higher level base attack. You can see mine's set up for if I want magic or I want physical. I thought August was going to use a sword. Dummy me, I guess. And then you can see here we got the Crystal Bust Armor, which is just a bunch of HP and attack. So she is actually kind of stacked on my team. I think she has the highest attack stat of any character. Even Simona is below right now, but Simona's only 3 stars. But this thing is pretty sick with it too. But yeah, that was my fight for the Weapon Trial 2. It was a really fun fight. Once I decided I could use any characters that I wanted, because I'm still trying to not use some characters, but when I could use the characters that I really like and really feel like using, it became a lot of fun. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Thank you very much. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I'll see you on the flip-flops. Bye! Turning on the screen.